Given that almost all U.S. military intelligence assessments regarding Russian invasion of Ukraine are happening now on the ground, do you have any assessment on how long this war will continue, months or years? And secondly, will the Russians focus more on annexation of the east of Ukraine rather than focusing on invading the whole country? You made statements that Russians will focus on Donbas region and east and south of the Ukraine, but do you think that Russians have planned to annex this part like they did in 2015 to Crimea? Thank you.
I don't think anybody can predict how long this is going to go on. What we have said is because the Russians are now concentrating their efforts in a smaller geographic area, an area that they have been fighting with Ukrainian armed forces now for 8 years, and have been occupying illegally in many cases, we would expect that the fighting could be prolonged, I think is how we've described it. But I don't think we're able to put a fine point on that and give you a date on the calendar and say that's how long it's going to take. We don't anticipate that it's going to be over, in days, or even just coming weeks. We think it potentially could go longer than that. Nobody wants to see that. The truth is, and I'm sure you're tired of me saying this, but it could end today. It could end now if Mr. Putin pulled his forces out and stopped this illegal invasion and sat down in good faith with Mr. Zelensky. Clearly, he has no intention of doing that. I understand it, but it doesn't mean it shouldn't still be said. The war could be over now. And I'm sorry, you had another question about, their intentions. Look, I've said from the very beginning, we're not going to be able to get inside Mr. Putin's head perfectly and know exactly what his long-term objectives are, or even his medium-term objectives. It's clear to us that he wants to focus on the east and the south. Again, particularly in the east, an area of Ukraine that he has been fighting with Ukrainian forces over. Now, whether his intention is to try to gobble that up and then sit down at the negotiating table and say, okay, I won, this is what I wanted all along. Don't pay any attention to what I said about Ukrainian sovereignty and the capital city and the Zelensky government. This is what I really wanted, and that's the leverage he wants at the table. We just don't know. Or would you want to gobble that up so that you can then use that as staging areas for further invasions more westerly into Ukraine and again try to threaten the capital city? We just don't know. What we do know is that they are focusing on the Donbas in the south. What we do know is that they are putting more enablers in there and they are adding more troops. Even over the last 24 hours, more troops have gone in. What we do know is that they are conducting offensive operations in the Donbas, and certainly they continue to bombard Mariupol. So that's what we know, and that's why we're focused on getting the Ukrainians the kinds of systems and capabilities that we believe, and more importantly, they believe, are going to be useful to them in that fight that's actually ongoing right now.